I know that it might be a deterrent on a graduate student deciding whether or not they would like to accept a package, a financial aid package from the university, if they know that more income is going to be taken away from them. So, you know, when you're comparing, when you're trying to compare apples to apples, I know that I had a few offers from universities that offered me assistantships, and I put the packages in a line and said, what one is going to offer me the best income? And I, looked at the taxes, okay, well, knowing that the federal government isn't going to tax me, now I know what the Michigan tax was, and I looked at what I was going to be taking home, and if, for me, personally, if it was going to be where I knew that EMU was going to offer me less money in my pocket, I may or may not have taken it. I don't know. I know I weighed other things for why I chose Eastern, but the financial package was a decision factor on whether or not I chose to come to Eastern as my graduate program. So it may have an effect when you're talking dollars, it may. So I guess what I would like to also throw out there is, would the city council at least be open to a conversation of not taxing students? If this passes and the city of Ypsilanti says, sure, go right ahead, we want this tax, would the city entertain the conversation of, let's not tax our students because they have so little income as it is, so we're not in a detriment, and so that is not a determining factor in the decision on whether or not a student would come to Eastern.
Unfortunately, under the state law of Michigan, if income tax is levied, we have to apply uniformly, so we cannot differentiate between students and non-students. The only exemptions or exceptions we can make are what the law allows for, and that's not one of them.
I believe the legislature is still in session tonight, so if you want to object, you can contact them. I think you know where they are.
The next question is directed at City Manager Frisno. How much money, or how much percentage of the city income tax revenue will have to be spent to administer and collect the tax?
We had a study conducted by Plant Rand in 2005 that estimated that 3% of the total collected would have to be used for administrative purposes. We've conservatively estimated that at 10% rather than 3%. So I would say the answer to that question is, at this point, our best guess is 10%.
Another question that's directed towards you, City Manager Frisno, is how is residency determined?
Residency is determined by registering to vote. That's how we know where you live. And so if a student lives in Farmington Hills and is registered to vote there, then that's where they're considered a resident. If they register to vote here, then we would consider them a resident of the city of Ypsilanti. If they don't live here and don't register here, we have no way of verifying that they are actually a resident of the city.
The next question is directed at current Mayor Paul Schreiber. Is there an expectation for the Water Street project to bring in revenue, and how is that figured into the formula?
Right now, we do not have any revenue coming in from Water Street in the near future. We did have a developer a year ago, and due to the state business cycle that we're in, which is a downturn, they decided to pull out. So We do have bonds that are coming due. Water Street, I believe, very significant payments are starting, I believe, in 2010. Back in 2005, the city had convened the Blue Ribbon Finance Committee, which was a group of residents to basically look at how the city was spending money and to see if there were things that could be done to improve the fiscal state of the city. And there's a report that you can see online at the city website that basically says that the city is very well run. City manager Ed Crisno's been at the city for 10 years, and I think he's done an excellent job myself, but the report said that also. And the report listed some cost-cutting measures, most of which have been implemented. And the final thing was that they actually strongly recommended that City Council consider an income tax. Now, this was before Water Street this was actually during the time that Water Street was assumed to be paying for itself. So even before Water Street, we lost our developer for Water Street, the income tax was still something that a group of residents who were well informed to work with the city manager thought that was required. So I think really Water Street is a separate issue, and I still believe that even if we had a developer for Water Street today, I think I would still be standing here saying that I think the income tax is the better of two bad options.
I'd just like to say that the Water Street plan was is a long-term plan for a brighter future for our community. It's a blighted area, challenged area on a beautiful stretch of the Huron River. If Water Street were completely developed overnight tonight while we're sleeping, oh, what a wonderful thing that would be. It would not contribute a dime to the city's general fund budget for years, because the plan was that the monies, the increased taxes initially would go to pay the bills for having acquired the land in the first place. So we need additional revenues whether or not Water Street is developed. It was not part of the problem. This is not a problem just unique to Ypsilanti. Communities all over the state are being challenged by the fact that there's a statewide recession. So in the August 27th Ann Arbor News article about the city of Milan, it says that in the past 4 years, Milan has gone from great expectations to financial stress as plans for several large housing developments disappeared, and the city was left with a $14 million bond for a wastewater treatment plant expansion. So in other words, the housing boom was there. Milan was ready to get their piece of it. They needed to expand their wastewater treatment plant, and now the developers have left town, and they've got an expanded treatment plant, but they don't have the expanded population that either needs it or would be helping to pay for it. So it's not a unique problem for Ypsilanti.
The next question. The next question is directed to Pete Murnau. What other organizations are opposed to the city income tax?
The Ypsilanti Area Chamber of Commerce has taken a position against the income tax. The Huron Valley Labor Council has taken a position against the income tax, which is a conglomeration of a variety